Hello aspirants. In this video we are going to discuss about the shared parenting. Without any delay, let's understand this concept. So basically the context is derived in the news article, that is the pandemic induced restrictions on court taxes are making it more difficult for parents who do not have primary physical custody of their children to obtain a custody decision. Obtaining custody of a child after divorce is a complicated process. And in countries like United States, the United Kingdom and Australia, the concept of shared parenting is a reality. However, in India it is not a reality. So let's understand what is shared parenting. First of all, let's understand what law says about it. In India, there are two laws that govern the custody of children. An example of this found in the Hindu Minority Guardianship Act HMGA, which stipulates that the father and mother are considered the natural guardians of the Hindu minor boy or girl, unmarried girl, with the exception of a child who has not yet turned 5 years. However, there is no mechanism in the Hindu Minority and Guardianship Act for deciding custody rights or declaring court appointed guardians, be it a legal or procedural. The second law is colonial in nature because of this. And with regards to appointing a person to serve as a guardian, both for the child and for the property, the Guardian and Wards Act GWA, that is Guardian and Wards Act of 1890, is the other piece of legislation in play. If a natural parent wants to be designated as the sole guardian of his or her child, then the Guardian and Wards Act governs custody, guardianship, and the visitation. While the guardianship and custody of a child can be granted to one parent with visitation rights to the other following a petition under the Guardians and Wards Act and also Hindu Minority Guardianship Act, read with that. As a result, the welfare of the minor or best interest of the child shall be the most important consideration in the decision making process. So this is what the law says. So what are the best interests of the children that we have discussed here? Let's discuss. The United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child is ratified by India. That is United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. So according to UNCRC, it has been incorporated into the Juvenile Justice Act, that is Care and Protection of Children Act 2015. It is in the child's best interest for his or her basic rights and needs and identity, social well-being and physical, emotional, intellectual development to be met, and the best interest of the child is then considered by the court. In 2019, the Supreme Court of India ruled in the Lahari Sakumari versus Shoban Kodali that best interest of the child has a wide connotation and cannot remain the love and care of the primary care, that is mother in the case of an infant or the child who is only a few years old. This is an approach that puts the needs of the child first. But in Vasudev Sethi versus Kiran versus Bhaskar, the Supreme Court ruled in this case in 2022 that a child's welfare, not the individual or a personal legal rights of the parents, is of paramount importance in a custody battle. And the rights of the parent must yield to the best interest of the child. That means if a child wants to be with the mother, he can be with the mother or father related to his own interest. So the recommendations that are made for joint parenting is very important to observe, that the idea of co-parenting has been floated by numerous groups, and the joint custody and shared parenting were recommended by the Law Commission of India in 2015 report on reforms on it. Reforms in the guardianship and custody laws in India, and it objected to the idea of one parent having sole custody of the child. So according to this, both the parents should have the custody over the child. It was recommended by the Law Commission that the Hindu Minority Guardianship Act and the Guardians and Wards Act be amended in order to allow for joint custody, and to set Fourth, guidelines for arrangements involving joint custody and child support and visitations. That means either of the parent can visit the child, and there shouldn't be any rule for that. And one of the most comprehensive reports on the child protection in India was prepared by the Justice Bindal Committee, which defined wrongful removal and retention and provided a complete mechanism for redress in its two-volume report to the Government of India. So here you have to remember this Justice Bindal Committee in the case. Now, let's understand what happened to such recommendations. Sadly, these reports have been ignored, and the impasse has resulted in ugly custody disputes. According to Supreme Court, highlighted a concept known as parental alienation syndrome, which describes a child's unjustified disdain for his or her parents in Vivek Singh versus Romani Singh in 2017 case. So, its psychologically destructive effects were emphasized in the verdict. As a result of the parental alienation, children do not even want to see or speak the parent who does not have the custody of them. Because children are considered to be the future of the nation, a child-centric approach to human rights jurisprudence is based on this principle. And families are torn apart by prolonged separation. So let's discuss the way forward on this. According to the current Indian laws, joint parenting is still legal, and courts have no choice but to adhere to these particular acts, that is Hindu Minority Guardianship Act or Guardians and Wards Act, because they have no choice but to do so. Consequently, children are those most affected and they suffer alone. Custodial parents have used the law to deny non-custodial parents access to their children in the midst of the pandemic. Supreme Court guidelines are practice directions and are therefore urgently required for a child's optimal development, and it is possible, practical and balanced to use the shared or joint parenting with equal rights. And family courts are empowered to design their own procedures. Thanks to the Family Courts Act of 1984, they can come up with the novel ideas and insist of joint custody of the children. So this is all about the need for shared parenting and the conflict behind it, and the connection you have to understand. I hope you do like this video. If you do like this video, please share it to your friends, and also share them about Aspirant Voice UPSC. Aspirant Voice UPSC. The notes will be given, and the description will be given in this link. The link will be given in the description. I hope you do like this. If you do like, please like, share, and also subscribe. And just please try to encourage me, because I'm making this for you students. So I hope you share it to your friends. Thank you.